Alright, I'm going to do a video on magnesium. All my previous videos on nutrients were nutrients that tended to be common struggles in people switching to veganism. This one doesn't fall under that category. This one is almost easier to get if you're vegan. In fact, I would say it is easier because a lot of the things that have a lot of magnesium are things that people eating a lot of meat might not have as much room in their diet to consume, whereas if you're vegan and not eating meat, it's easier to get a lot of these beans and leafy greens and nuts and stuff, so we tend to eat more of those than non-vegans. But I'm just going to mention it because it's super important, and as I've mentioned in the past, it's easy to be vegan and have a bad diet. Like, you could just have a bunch of mock meats and vegan desserts and stuff and you wouldn't be getting all this stuff. So think of this video as inspiration to get your healthy fruits and vegetables and all your healthy grains and beans and all that kind of stuff. So magnesium is an abundant mineral in the body. It's a cofactor in more than 300 enzyme reactions in the body, including protein synthesis, muscle and nerve function, blood glucose control, and blood pressure regulation. So it's required for energy production and glycosis, and it contributes to the structural development of bone and is required for synthesis of DNA, RNA, and some kind of I can't say it. Really frustrates me when I can read things but I can't pronounce them. Anyway, it's important for a lot of stuff. It plays a role in the active transport of calcium and potassium ions across nerve cell membranes, a process that is important to nerve impulse conduction, muscle contraction, and normal heart rhythm. So you just heard that. That's three really important things. You want your heart rhythm to be normal. You don't want anything crazy going on. You definitely want muscle contraction, especially if you're watching this channel because you're a strength athlete and a vegan. Like, being a strength athlete, training with heavy weights, moving big objects, muscle contraction, super important. So you need to have your magnesium. And then nerve impulse conduction. So that means it enables your body to send nerve signals through your body. Like, if you don't have your conduction, your impulse conduction, then there won't be like a pathway for these impulses to travel, and you won't be able to send messages. So that's important for your balance, for things like anything you do in everyday life, but especially in things like you're doing kung fu or yoga or ballet or rock climbing or parkour. I mean, you can think of all these things where you really want your nerves sending signals to your brain and letting your body know what's up. So you can see why I find this to be such an important nutrient. It's one of the most important nutrients I've seen since B12. So if you have a magnesium deficiency, the first signs are loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, and weakness. If it gets a little bit worse and you get a little more deficient, you'll start having numbness, tingling, muscle contractions and cramps, seizures, personality changes, abnormal heart rhythms, and coronary spasms, which isn't good. So don't ever let it get to that point. All right, people at risk for magnesium deficiency, I mean, obviously people that don't eat a lot of magnesium, but also people with gastrointestinal diseases like Crohn's disease and celiac disease, and people with type 2 diabetes, and also people who have alcohol dependence, who overdo the alcohol. All these things contribute to making it more challenging for the body to absorb magnesium. So those are things to consider. And also, sometimes older adults will have issues because they'll be on more medications, or their body won't digest things as well anymore, and things of that nature. And then if you have magnesium lacking from your diet for a while, some of the things that will cause long term, which are really bad, are hypertension, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes. How's that? That's like full circle. Type 2 diabetes can cause magnesium deficiency, but magnesium deficiency can cause diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So that's just feeding off itself. That's not good. And then osteoporosis, because it's so important for bone formation and also for the transfer of calcium. And then migraine headaches. So sources of magnesium are like green leafy vegetables, like spinach especially, but kale and a lot of other things, and legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and also things like avocado, and in general just foods that contain a lot of fiber. So it's a super important nutrient. It's the things I was reading about it doing are super one things that are very important for health and strength training and everything. It's one of the best nutrients I've seen since B12. One you definitely don't want to neglect. So just be aware that you're getting enough of these leafy greens and things like avocado and nuts and seeds and stuff, and make sure you got your magnesium, because it's an insanely important nutrient.